this is ours. You guys, oh, we're going to give you what? We're going to give you cards. You have to build those.
ID cards.
Country, and you're telling
it was ID cards in their own country.
Yes, in our
own country.
But you think but when I speak
so how would they like it back because come here and did it to them?
People don't forget.
It's bullshit.
Are the Palestinians going to forget what the Jews are doing? 500 years from now? Hell no, they're not going to forget. The Jews may be sitting pretty like this. Yeah, guys, look at our kingdom. The Palestinians that are in the slums are going to be like, fuck those guys. 500 years ago, they're going to be like,
Sara, you can give you a lecture and that's fine.
No, but what I'm telling you is, what I'm trying to say to you is, you don't see it the way the oppressed people see it. You want statistics. You want what people said. You want all these things. I'm telling you history.
I want facts. I know it's inconvenient. I appreciate
no, but I just gave you facts.
I just gave you facts.
So whenever
are not the real.
Can I finish with him?
I just gave you facts. Every country that I just mentioned has had a warring population that has killed off the indigenous people and then claimed that those people trying to come into their own country are illegal.
Sara, I agree with you in history.
Right.
Okay, so I agree with you in history.
Okay.
So history
is today.
History is not today.
No, history is today.
So are you going to go back?
People ain't forgotten. It's today.
That's great. Are you going to keep remembering for the next 200 years? Or
all right, you tell the
point,
Jews to go and forget them.
Sorry,
you can't forget. You go tell the Jews to forget about the Holocaust.
They won't. They won't forget.
Don't come and talk to me and tell me to forget about my Holocaust.
We're not going to forget about.
Or tell the Native Americans to forget about their Holocaust. Or tell the Palestinians to forget about their Holocaust.
We're never going to forget.
Everyone's going to remember their Holocaust, bro. And if you are the people that came to their country to cause that Holocaust, they're never going to forget. I'm just telling you that now.
I wanted to have a nice conversation with you. You're now going to the rhetoric.
All right, sorry. Go on.
But that's okay.
I'll stop.
We were originally talking about the wall, and you hop around like a rabbit, and you want to do this by referring to history. And I agree with you.
I was wrong about the wall.
Wait, okay. And I agree with you. And I came from an apartheid country, and I agree with you. Apartheid was wrong, and I was brought up in that, and I thought it was right, and I changed my mind. Now you will say, "Oh no, you're not."
I believe the remnants are still there in the subconscious. Because the way you're speaking to me now,
I'm looking for facts, and we were talking about America, and you were making claims about Trump. First, you make claims about how the police kill people, and we wanted to finish that.
Right.
We never got to finish that. Then you said Trump is a racist. I said to you, how is he racist?
Right.
I'm not defending him, by the way, but we want facts. Then you talked about a wall, and I told you what happened with the wall to take out illegal immigrants. That's not racist. So you appreciate it, and you've acknowledged it, which I appreciate.
Do you know what's interesting about people of colour? People of colour can tell a racist, and a racist won't even admit they're racist. We know when we're being discriminated against because of our race, but if we say something, oh, we're being paranoid, or you got a chip on your shoulder. No. Because we don't need your statistics.
Don't put that on my shoulder.
We've got 500 years of history to show that your people are racist. We don't need your statistics, bro. We don't need them.
Yeah, but those are facts. I know it's inconvenient.
We don't need, no, but the facts are we've got 500 years of history to show your racism. We don't need that. And now you're saying, but now you're in your golden tower saying, yeah, but what are the facts, my friend? Like, what facts do you have that we are racist? You're sitting in the golden tower on somebody else's land. That's enough fact for me. You want someone shouting out the window saying, "Fuck you, go back to your own country, you black bastards." Is that what you want? Is that what?
Why are you putting that on me then?
I'm just saying generally, not you. I'm not saying you. I'm saying what you want is that you want to say, you see,
someone else, not me.
He called the man a nigger. Now listen,
dude, you're jumping again to nigger. Who's called anybody nigger?
Listen to what I'm saying to you. I'm saying it's like
but you're hopping around all over the show.
It's like that's what you want to show that people are racist. It's like you want a very verbal agreement to say, yeah, that guy's a racist because he's called that guy a nigger.
It's like you want it
That's
to be
not
so
going to happen. That's not how racism works. Racism is covert, my friend. It is covert. It is under the radar. You're in a job one day. You're out the next day. You're like, hang on a minute, what happened there? You walk into your school canteen and people are acting a certain way. This is racism. Racism is very subtle. People don't call you nigger anymore nowadays. People don't call you Paki. They don't call you an Arab bastard. They don't call you a chink. They don't call you a whatever. They don't call you a Jew, whatever. They just do things that make you know that was based on your race. That is how racism works nowadays.
Even in the 70s.
You're not going to get, because you grew up in South Africa, you were around people saying you cat for this, you cat for that, you cat for that. So you're probably used to that.
I was.
Okay, so racism doesn't operate like that anymore.
You know,
it doesn't.
In the 70s, there was more, you had the skinheads going around with green jackets, they were actually calling people nigger to their face.
Right.
But laws are coming now where they know they can't do it as much, so now they go around. Now they go around in suits and ties. You know, looking more, they're fitting in
like Donald Trump.
Who brought in those laws, just by the way?
The white supremacy system brought in those laws.
The white supremacy brought that in to make it more fair for you.
No, fair for them.
For them.
For them.
So when people were saying nigger, that was a bad thing. But then the white supremacy or the white guys brought in something to say, let's not do that. Let's make everybody equal, and that's a bad thing.
No.
They're not going to make everybody equal.
No, that's not what they said. What they said was, let's stop saying the word nigger.
That's not what they said.
Let's just stop saying the word nigger, but still
Is that
treat
a
them
good
like
thing or a bad
niggas.
thing?
No, that's not what happened. But that's what you want.
Sarah, I agree that
That's
there are
what you want.
individual
You
people
are
who
not
are
going to
racist.
get people saying the word nigger, packy, chink, whatever nowadays. You're not going to get it. What you are going to get is a system that redlines niggers, packies, and chinks and Asians. That's what you're going to get. You're not going to get people saying it. So you looking for someone to say it, you can look to tomorrow. I
I'm
don't
not
care.
looking for somebody to say it, sorry. You made the claim that it's a system.
It is a
And I'm
system.
saying to you, you're conflating the system, i.e. the laws that are written, with people who are either enforcing them or not.
It's a
There's
system
two
that
different
involves
things.
culture as well and education. So if you don't change the education and the point of view from that perspective, how you teach
Is
new
there something
generations,
racist in
it's
our
not gonna
laws in the
change.
UK now?
Yes.
What is it? Tell me.
The laws are there to protect. Okay, let's say a paedophile, right? A paedophile statistically are normally middle-aged white men.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know. Fair enough.
People that are involved in gun crime are normally young black males, right? For me, now a gun crime is still a serious crime. I don't disagree. Now what they do in the law is that you can get caught with a gun. I think it's 5 years, and then they
5
start,
years.
and then it's like per bullet is like they add another 6 months or something to your sentence. Now you could have 3 bullets and you got 5 years and 6 years and 3 months or whatever. I've seen paedophiles out in 2 years. Convicted paedophiles that are molesting children out in 2 years. But this guy he may have been caught with a gun, never shot anyone, but now he's in jail for 6 years. Is that not a skewed system?
So what?
Because I never messed up anyone's life with a gun. I'm not saying me, but I never messed up anyone's life with a gun. But I just messed up a young child's life forever. And I got 2 years. Not me, but I'm just saying I got 2 years. No way. That's a crazy system. That's skewed towards middle-aged white men, wouldn't you say?
I will agree with you that there are people who make those decisions where it's unfair. What I asked you for was where in the law is it discriminatory? So
Where does it say treat the
Doesn't need to
Asians
say
like
that,
this?
though.
Is that what
Doesn't
you're
need to
saying?
say that.
This is what I'm saying. This is what
That's
you're
why-
waiting for.
that's why-
He doesn't get it.
You're
He doesn't get it, Bob. He doesn't get
He
it.
doesn't need to say that.
Where in the
though.
law is
He
it gonna
doesn't
say
get it.
treat
He
the
doesn't
Pakis
get
like
it.
that?
Doesn't
It's
have to say that,
discrimination.
though.
Where's it gonna say that?
It's discrimination.
Come on,
say
bro.
that.
Like, come on. This is what I'm saying. This is why I know
That's
you're
the vision
from
of
that
Donald Trump.
apartheid era. You're waiting for
You're
that.
making no sense,
You're waiting
bro.
to see that.
It doesn't need to say kill
I
black.
wanna-
waiting to-
Or doesn't need to
maybe
say-
you and I can have it separately because there's a
It's
big
not
audience
gonna
and you want to
happen.
try and show it up. I wanted to ask you
Well,
questions because
you
you're
are not-
conflating different things.
You are not going to get a law that says treat Chinese people like this, treat Asian people like this, or treat black
That's
people
all I
like
wanted
this.
to ask you.
It's not going to happen. Racism doesn't
So
work
the law
like that.
itself is not racist. Some people enforcing the law may have racial, whatever term you want to use.
Like
is that
I-
fair
Stereotype.
enough?
Okay, but like I-
Is my
Stereotype.
assessment
No, but
it
like,
is,
fair enough?
no, but like I
It makes
said,
sense, but it doesn't
I
make
hear what
sense.
you're saying, but like I said, if, like I said before, cocaine is used to make crack cocaine, and there's a harsher sentence for using crack
Is
cocaine.
there a reason for that, do you think? I don't know. I'm asking you.
Because the importers and the distributors of cocaine are not black and brown people.
Oh, come on, Sara. You're smarter than that. Come on.
No,
If the
man.
importers
Come on,
and users
Trust
of
me.
cocaine
I'm not a drug
were
dealer.
black and brown people, cocaine will be illegal like a motherfucker.
Is it not illegal now?
No, I'm saying, but illegal though.
Oh, right.
No, I'm talking about
More
illegal,
illegal than
more
it is.
illegal. I'm saying like 50-year illegal or something. I'm saying because this is what you won't see it. I guarantee you just won't see it because you're not in the position to see it.
And you sing it because what? You're involved with cocaine?
No, because I'm a person of color and I am inside
What
the
he's
system
trying to
every
say,
day, and this is what
unless
I feel
you've
and
been
see with
discriminated
my own eyes.
against,
Like
yeah,
I said,
you need to know. You can go into a bar, yeah, and as a non-white man, you can tell straight away whether you're welcome or not. As a white man, you can't see it.
He wants someone to say, oh,
It's
look at
not
that,
gonna
look at that,
happen.
look at that nigger over there. That's what he wants to say. Oh yeah, that's a racist
No,
bar.
that's not
because
racist.
someone
Racism
said,
What I said.
is a
Come
look.
on. Sorry.
It's a look. It's a
Racism is a
feeling.
body language.
There you go.
You don't have
You know.
to say anything. You don't know this.
Do you know why he's saying that?
You're
Because he's a
Dutch.
person of color and he feels it.
Yeah, I had all
feel
that
it.
shit when I was a kid, man. The old bill didn't want to come out. They didn't want to come out. I had fucking 6 or 7 skinners up me. I was 15 years old. What do you want to do? The police weren't interested.
My friend, now we're moving because you obviously feel very strongly, and I appreciate
It's not
that.
about feeling strongly. I'm trying to put you in your place. I'm just trying to tell you. If you expect a racist to turn around and say, to define a racist and turn around and say this guy is this guy is that, yeah?
Were you listening to what I was actually saying?
I was listening to what he's saying, but you're not grasping what he's saying. You're not grasping it. You're not grasping what he's saying. That's the problem. You're not understanding what he's saying. You're brushing it aside.
He's trying to dodge everything.
I'm not attacking you. I'm just trying to tell you from his point of view. All he's trying to say to you is you're not going over the line in the sand.
Okay,
You can't understand
Since
it.
you seem
If
to
you've not
understand
been
what I'm saying,
discriminated against,
tell
you'll never get it.
me what I said. And tell me what you understand me
You
as.
said you want.
Sorry, I'm now asking him.
No, he's asking.
Sorry.
He's asking. Basically,
I'm
you asked
asking,
him where in the
understand what
law.
I said.
Where in the law? Yeah, it says to discriminate.
Yes.
It's a hidden law.
Doesn't need to say
You're
it.
stereotyped.
But I agreed with that.
You're
So what's-
stereotyped. If a Muslim got on a plane and said Allahu Akbar, he's a terrorist. If an Englishman got on a plane and said, "Oh my God, there's turbulence," it's okay. What are you talking about?
But I accepted that, so I don't understand where your argument's coming in.
Because you don't get what we're trying to say to you. He's trying to say, you're trying to say, you want it clarified, yeah?
I want the
A
distinction
racist
between
is
the
somebody
law
that
and the
says
people that
something.
enforce the law. Do you accept that there's a law and there's people who enforce the law? Thank you, Sara.
Yes,
That's
I
the
do.
distinction
But the
that I
people
want to
that
make.
enforce the law are racist.
Not all of them, but I agree that some are.
They live in a racist system.
Dude,
You
so
can't not be
does
race
that mean the
prejudiced
same
in
for
this
black
system.
guys?
Did you not watch that programme this week? It's called Ill-Gotten Gains. A black man made £300,000 selling drugs. He got 9 years in prison. A white woman in North, she done fraud. £1.9 million. She got 2.5 years.
What did she do? Sorry?
But that's the system.
Fraud. What's fraud?
But the system
Fraud.
agrees with
It's
that,
like
though.
Fraud.
fucking- we don't even know what's like fraud.
Madeline
Fucking
McCann's parents got to write a book and have a little dinner with people because they lost their daughter. Let that be a black woman, a black couple. Let that be a Muslim couple that lost their child. You think they got a book
Well,
deal?
don't bring Muslims into this.
I'm
They're
just
already
saying.
discriminated.
Yeah, but
They're
Muslim isn't
They're not
discriminated
going to get a
against.
book deal, mate.
Don't
I
go
tell
with-
you that much. They're going to be like, oh, look at these
They're not gonna
crazy
get a book
parents that
deal.
left their child
They're gonna get a
by
first class
themselves.
ticket to
Get
Guantanamo Bay.
them in jail.
It's hard to have a conversation because you speak non-stop, my friend, and so it's a one-way thing.
All right,
I
listen,
appreciate
explain
you.
what you want to tell him. I'll be the
You don't-
referee.
I
you don't get
accept
it.
it. I
You don't
accept
get it.
I accept it. What more do you want me to say?
Okay.
I accept that there are people that are racist.
Right.
I accept that.
Do you accept the system is racist?
What do you mean by the system? We keep
The
going
system-
back to, is that the system the law, or is it the
Okay.
people who enforce? Or you're putting both of them together and saying that's the system?
It's the use
Right.
of law and the people who create those laws.
Right.
That's
And
my
people who
question. Is that the
approve those
system,
laws.
Yes.
or one or the other the system?
The system is the people that create the people within the system and the people that create the laws within the system.
And people that
because people that
approve those laws.
because if you're at the top of the social economic ladder, say, for instance, if you're at the top of the social economic ladder, you are going to create laws that benefit your people at the top of the social economic ladder. It just makes sense. No one is going to create a law
makes sense.
that is going to not benefit them if they do something bad.
Do you think there's white liberal people that actually care about?
Yes.
Of course there are.
Of course there are.
Do you think that they are enforcing and setting up the laws, or do you think it's racists who are writing all
Racists.
the laws?
I don't see any white liberal laws.
You don't. So all the
I don't
equality.
see the
There
white
are,
liberal people
but it's not
making
them
laws.
making it,
Sorry.
though.
Okay.
It's
So,
not them making
so
it.
the equality that we have in this country, where you shouldn't be discriminated against, but you are by some people, is that okay or is that not okay in this country?
Is it
The law
okay?
itself.
Say again.
Is the law where you are not discriminated by the law, is that good in this country or is it not good? It's
good.
Okay. I agree with you. I also agree with that there's some people who then use that in whatever way, let's call it illegally, shall we? I agree with you on that point.
Right.
That's all we wanted to talk about. So you've gone into a long story here where I agree there are people who are, I don't like to use the word institutionally racist, that are cognitively biased towards
So you
different
don't believe,
colours.
do you believe that the institution is racist?
Again, I keep asking you, what is the institution? Is it the laws or is it the people together? Is it the whole thing?
Get out the definition. Get out
Let's just see what the Met chief admits institutional racism claims have some justification. Now, this is the chief of police. Now, if the chief of, I'm just saying, if the chief of police who works within the institution, who works
What does
within
it say? What does it say? Because it's nice to put
Bernard
up a
Hogan
headline.
House, Scotland Yard documentary, young black men are much more likely to be stopped and searched than white men.
Why is that?
Britain's most senior police officer said that
Is it
there is
'cause
some
I'm black?
justification to allegations that the Metropolitan Police is institutionally racist, despite efforts to improve relations with ethnic minority communities
gotta find
following
a
the Stephen
human,
Lawrence scandal. So Bernard Hogan Howe, the Met Commissioner, said his force had to take such accusations on the chin. During an interview to be aired in the first episode of the BBC documentary series Scotland Yard, Hogan House said, "If other people think we are institutionally racist, then we are. It's no good me saying we're not and saying you must believe me. That would be a nonsense. If they believe that, Scotland Yard has been dogged for years of claims of institutional racism triggered by the damning McPherson report. Since assuming control of the Met in September 2011, Hogan Howe has pledged repeatedly to reform and the force and restore public trust in officers. Yet Scotland Yard has been dragged into several damaging rows over race, including the shooting of Mark Duggan that led to the 2011 riots. In an interview for the Met Police, Hogan Howe conceded that young black men in London were very much more likely to be stopped and searched than young white men.
I know it's the truth.
Because you experience it, right?
All the time.
Of course, that's fine. But he wants the law to say it.
He wants the law to say it.
He wants the law to tell me
I'm a nigger.
Stop the black guy. It's like,
they're not gonna do
you're
that.
not going to get that.
But Sarah, I never asked for that.
You did. You said you want to see where the law is written, where
I
it
didn't say
discriminates
anything
against people.
Correct, that's what I said. And I agree
But where's
with you,
the-
and I accepted that people are racist. But I
Okay.
want to make a distinction between what the law says, because
Can you show me a law that does say that, though, in anywhere around the world?
What's that?
Can you show me a law that does discriminate against people?
Well, it used to do it in South Africa, didn't it?
Exactly, and that's
So
where you're from. That's what you're looking for.
Correct. That's what I'm looking for.
That's what I'm
in
trying
the
to say.
law.
You're not getting it over here.
Brother.
You don't get that over here.
It's institutional.
There's no South African apartheid over here. It wasn't that drastic. Do you know what I'm saying? The racism wasn't that drastic. It was very drastic where you're from. So the law over here and the law over there, they're going to be different. You're not going to see the coloureds this and the Kafirs that and the niggers. You're not going to see that over here. But you will see in the actions people treated like Kafirs, niggers,
Yeah, but it's not everybody, Sarah. That's my biggest problem.
Asians.
Have a good day.
It's not everybody, though.
I'm saying the system's like that. Bernard Hogan House of the system. He's a Met police officer. He said the system is institutionally racist, and he has no. Does he have an agenda to say otherwise?
But I'm agreeing and accepting that there are people that are like that.
Right. But he said it's institutional, not just people. He said it's an
So
institution.
presumably, what he means by that is that everybody in the police force is racist.
No.
There
He
is-
doesn't mean that.
There is a.
For sure, he doesn't mean that.
What's
Are
the
there
word
some
I'm looking
people
for?
in there? Sure.
Yes.
Have they been racist? Sure. I agree with that.
But it's institutional, and it's the way in which you treat a person. It's the way in which you treat a crime. So, for instance, if you treat a racist crime, a racist crime,
Is there such a
you
thing?
might not. I don't know.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. There isn't such a
You
thing. I
know, a
would say.
racist crime, or a crime against, or a crime that involves someone of color.
Yeah.
You may not treat it as urgently and with as much urgency, let's say, as you would a crime that involves two white people.
Just this week, Joe Cox, they never called him a terrorist.
Thank you very much.
They never called him a terrorist. He's a white man. When a white man does it, he's got an illness.
Nicholas, what's his name, Breivik, that went and slaughtered those people on the. Was he a terrorist? No, it was just a crazy
Yeah,
white
I think he
dude.
was called a terrorist. Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
Crazy white dude with a gun. I
No,
remember.
He
I
wasn't
think
called a
he was
terrorist.
Crazy
The
white guy
mainstream
with a gun.
media, they
Far
didn't
right
call him
or
a
something
terrorist.
like
I
that.
remember going to Oxford. I was called a nigger about 7, 8 years ago. I called
they
the
called him a
police in
terrorist.
Oxford. The police didn't even come. It took about half an hour. He's strolling down the street, and they said, guy's gone already. All this kind of stuff. They didn't take it as no big deal.
Okay, but do you think that only happens, in your case? Doesn't happen
police.
to other people?
The police are
people,
here,
yes.
bro.
Trying to say
Yeah, it does,
response-
but not based on their race.
response to it.
Okay, but that's a huge generalization, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, the reason why you don't
And
get
because
it
you
is because
guys
you don't
have-
experience it.
Sure,
I'm
I-
telling you, I'm actually trying
Let
to
him
tell you.
experience it. Give it to him,
No,
boys.
but I mean, like,
Give it to him. Come on.
He's agreeing though. He's
It's like
agreeing.
me
he doesn't
saying,
experience.
I don't know what, I've never experienced rape. Never experienced
But you
rape
know what
as a
it
woman.
is, and you know what-
No, I can try and sympathize with what it is, but only a woman will know exactly what it is like to
Sure.
be raped.
That's the experience. I
So
accept
it's their
that.
experience.
You know-
So I'm telling you, our experience, you can try and sympathize with it, you can try and agree with it, but you don't understand it.
Let me tell you, there was
Don't
something
understand
I saw on
it.
YouTube.
Don't.
It's on YouTube like most other things. And there's this white woman.
Like most of
She had sex with she's a school teacher. She's 23, blonde hair, big blue eyes. She had sex with a 13 or 14-year-old boy. And when it went to court, she's a teacher, remember, the judge said she's too pretty to go to jail, right? And also the prosecutors said that as well. So sometimes just having white skin already gets you off certain things. Sometimes.
Like
Most
the-
definitely.
Like the
Yeah.
swimmer guy.
I just say
the swimmer in
sometimes,
America
though.
that
But you
committed
bring up
rape.
an exception, I'm fine.
The swimmer dude.
But don't
The
make
judge
that
like,
the law.
he's got college to think about. What? What? He just raped a woman. What are we talking about? Nah, he's got his future to think about. If this guy went into court and raped a woman, do you think he's gonna be like, nah, he's got his future to think about?
No way.
Let's think about his future.
9 years.
It's
9 years.
That's
9
Sara.
years.
Nah.
Sara, but you're
9
telling
years,
me
9
that
That ain't happening, mate. He got 9 years
9
straight
years.
away. Look at him. Oh,
The thing
you walk into court and be like, oh my god, convict him
And
already.
he's got a beard. It could be a Muslim. He'll get 18
He's
years.
going to jail now.
The thing you're telling me, you already
Get him
know.
off the street.
You know, you obviously you're a well-read man. You things we're telling you already know deep down.
It's true, you already know it.
You already know it.
You're just being
wanna
devil's
hear-
advocate,
obviously
you're arguing
for
for
the
the
sake of the cameras and all that for other people. But people already know the black man is already demonized. We're demonized.
But you're not demonized now here in the UK. It's
Yes,
my-
we are.
I mean,
bro.
you're crazy.
What do you mean?
Listen, let me tell you. See these blacks in here, yeah? Watch.
Hey,
No,
no,
10 steps forward, fucking
this
14
black
steps
skin we
back.
have here, anywhere we go into a shop, we go anywhere, people will look twice and say, oh, it's a black guy. Oh. Yeah.
I've had guards follow me around the whole store.
Come on, man.
And I've had bags on me.
You're
And I've still done the
educated
money
man,
I
you're well
had.
read.
They would never do that to
you.
you.
You're well read. You're a man, you're a man like me as well.
No
You know
time for this argument with people, you know.
Do you know what? You're a
You know
proper
why?
guy as well.
That's why people
You're
of
a very
Ghana don't
clever
have the
guy.
argument about race with white people, you know.
Hear this man, when you say
We don't generally have
Oh,
it
wait.
because you just generally don't understand, and you try to say, "Oh, you got a chip on your shoulder, you're paranoid."
You haven't got a chip on your shoulder, bruv. You got a whole sack of potatoes.
I'm saying when we have this conversation,
No, I
we
had
get
hope in this
those
guy. He
comments.
sounded clever,
You got
you
a
know.
chip on your shoulder.
He started off so
You're a little
well.
bit
Started off
paranoid.
well.
Maybe that person was having a bad
Sharp, it's
day.
not happening.
Maybe it's not happening, not as bad as it used to
Can
be.
I ask
We
you
got all of
something?
those. All of those.
Is there any other country you'd rather be in than this one?
Yes.
Yes.
Angola, my country.
The one that wasn't colonized by the white man.
That will change?
None of them.
Right. So there's no other country you'd rather be in?
Prior to colonization.
No, not
yes.
even now.
Right
No.
now,
No.
I could probably be on an island. Jamaica. Send me to Jamaica on an island. Just put me there and leave me alone.
Give him Wi-Fi. He won't live
Yeah,
without
give me
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
He needs Wi-Fi,
Give me
bruv.
Wi-Fi on an island.
There
I'll
you
be
are.
cool. Put my family there. Give me some
But
rum.
you stay here though. I mean, because
Of
obviously.
course.
Yeah.
Of course, I stay here.
Okay, why?
Because I was raised here, okay, and I understand the system here, and I understand the system in which we live in a capitalist system.
Very capitalist system.
Sure.
So capitalism is
that,
global.
hey, is that bad overall?
I'm
and if it
saying
is
it's
there
just
something better?
it's the system that we are currently
Socialism
in.
better.
So it's either it's
don't think so?
an adapt or
Communism.
die mentality.
Communism could be. In its
Adapt or
essence.
die mentality that you've got
Long
to
live Fidel Castro.
take when you're.
He's
I
dead,
never
but
chose
He's
to
dead.
be
When did he die? Last week?
Yeah,
right?
2
But
days ago.
you never chose apartheid, but you're born into it, right? You didn't choose it. So you now have to adapt or die in that system. That's
Now,
just
if I
what
go
we
back
do.
to South Africa, it's exactly the opposite. Did you know that?
Say again.
It's reverse racism. They call it.
There's no such thing.
Oh, so whites live in the whites.
No.
live in the ghetto.
Can I just step?
There's
Bruv,
no
you're
such
talking
thing as
on another
reverse
level,
racism.
man.
It's called.
You should not have
affirmative
smoked
action.
that crack pipe this morning.
Affirmative
You
action
might
is
have stood a
reverse
chance.
Say again?
You're telling me affirmative action is reverse racism?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have
so,
you been to South Africa?
Yes, I have twice.
So
I love
you
it
know what
there.
happens there.
I
Yes,
love it
I
there.
do.
Okay, cool.
So let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
If the system of apartheid had not been implemented, would you be saying there was reverse racism?
Who knows, brother? How would I know that?
Because
You're
it's
trying to ask me to go back and
because it's
change history.
action, reaction. Because for every
Okay.
action, there's a reaction.
Okay, so it's
Laws
just.
of- It's the laws of physics, right?
So it's justified now to have affirmative action, which is essentially reverse racism. You
But
know what it is.
You
when you go and,
you
when you go and apply
underdeveloped
for a
people
job.
for hundreds of years, bro.
Okay, no, but I'm asking.
No, I'm just saying.
But forget that. Forget that. Move on. We got
for
Big
hundreds
Macs.
of years.
Wait, Zara,
That's what he's
Are
trying
you
to
telling
say.
me you can underdevelop people for hundreds of years and then say, let's forget about that and let's just be on a level playing field? Do you think it's going to be level?
Okay, so do you think Mandela was wrong when he said no, we shouldn't be doing that?
Yes, I believe he was definitely wrong.
So he was wrong.
He was definitely wrong on that.
So what should happen as soon as there's been apartheid, it needs to go the exact opposite way, and we need to push down the white people or kick them out.
But it's
or
not
whatever.
like that there.
Nah, you see
You
why
don't
you gotta
go-
make it
Let
sound
me-
so
let-
harsh?
Let me
I went
ask you a
boarding school
question.
there.
Let me ask you a serious question, and I want a serious answer.
Go ahead.
If I don't know where you live, but if I ran into your house and kicked your door down and killed everyone in your house, okay, and kept you alive, and then maybe kept maybe one of your daughters alive or whatever, and when your daughter had a baby and I now ran your household. I was never ever running your household before though, but I now run your and you work by my rules. If you get in a position of power, what are you going to do?
Okay, you're referring to one person, i.e. me.
No, I'm saying
Hypothetically.
when you get in a position of power, what are you going to do?
Are you talking about as a country?
I'm talking about
you're
you.
equivocating between me as a family or as a person
Yes.
and an entire country.
Because that's
a big difference.
No,
course there is.
no, there isn't.
No, it's not.
Because that is exactly what happened in South Africa. That is exactly what happened in North America. That is exactly what happened in Australia.
So
People
what's
came
your
in,
solution?
black boots,
Let me just understand.
killed people, you know.
What's
put
your
them on-
solution?
There isn't one.
No. Don't. I'm asking you. What would you do?
So I would make it equal now. And did you know what happened in South Africa? They had there was like a big court system there where they had reparations, so people could come and admit it, and either they had a light sentence because they wanted to find out what happened. Lots of people got disappeared, etc., like that when the whites were running it. So
White
black people
man's
just
laws.
disappeared. So they had what was it called? It's like a court of reparation. There's a better name for it. I can't remember the proper name. And people were invited to come along and admit what they did, and then they'd either be forgiven or get a low sentence.
What, a white person was coming to admit what they did?
Yeah, but they were. It was being run by.
How many think we got?
I'm not sure.
Hey, white guy, come and admit what you did to the black people. Me?
It was called an EDL meeting. And they sat
many
down
people
and
do you
had
think were gonna
tea
go
and
and admit,
biscuits
Rob,
and
seriously?
cheered and went home.
Well, there were quite a few of them actually.
I'm sure there were quite a
Bishop
few.
Tutu, and I met him actually. Bishop Tutu was one of the guys that ran the panel. So what I would do is exactly what Mandela and Bishop Tutu did, and you think they were wrong.
Of course they were wrong. You can't run into my house and kill everyone and I'm going to be like, yeah, treat that guy fine, give him a job.
Sara, you're
Mate,
equivocating.
you
We're
get the
talking
fuck
about our
out.
country, not you.
Oh,
I agree
I'm just
with
saying.
you. I agree.
Racism, you
You
should feel
get
it
the
now.
fuck out.
Get out.
People, individual, get the fuck out.
Like I said, everybody should get out.
Get out.
He's South
It's
African.
not your country.
He's a Dutch refugee.
You inherited it
Dutch refugee.
via
Dutch refugee.
violence and...
But isn't every country by conquest?
And I love this white argument.
No, I'm just
No,
asking.
this is the white argument.
I'm just asking.
Isn't every country by conquest?
So with the
No,
same
not really,
the
but
same
there are
happened
some
in the
that
Middle
are, there are
East,
some
the
that
same
aren't.
happened in Asia, America,
Okay,
South America,
so now you're
everywhere.
saying the
I'm just
Palestinians
asking.
should just accept what the Jews are doing. Accept it, countries that come by conquest, crack on, mate. Is that what you're saying?
Sorry, I
Be
asked-
careful.
asking you that-
Be careful. You got a Palestinian behind you.
No, but it's what I'm saying. But what I've noticed is only white-skinned people say
But
this
they
stuff.
tried to
Not
justify
only
it.
colonialists say this stuff.
What?
But to justify the
I'm not
madness.
justifying, I'm asking you a question.
No,
Is
no, no,
that-
no.
is the boundaries of every
You're
country-
asking it to justify the madness. That's why you're asking it. Essentially, to
It's not-
justify what is actually going on in the country. You're saying, aren't all countries taken by conquest? So if I say yes, you're saying, well, then that's basically what happens. Well, basically, we can't. So imagine. So what
white
you're
people in
basically
foreign
saying is,
countries.
well, their might
He's
is
South
right,
African,
and that is the way
and
it
he's
should
basically
be
saying
forever.
racism doesn't exist.
No, but I'm saying that seems like your line of questioning. What he's doing. That's what it seems like to me. Because I'm saying if the South Africans got into power now, the black ones, and then they kicked you lot out, you'd be complaining, yeah? You'd be like, oh my God, but I'll be like, well, might is right, Rob.
But I never said that. I said exactly opposite, didn't I? You asked me what should I do, and I said I would have done what Mandela
But you can't have it
and
equal.
Tutu did.
You can't have it equal. After you've disenfranchised people for hundreds of years, it's not ever just going to be equal overnight. It's not going to happen.
Unless the white people give back South Africa and say you govern the law and we respect your law.
Now imagine,
because you lot talk
know
about
there's-
going to other
you
people's
know,
countries.
Even though
and-
you say there's affirmative action in South Africa, right?
Yeah.
You know that the companies, the Beers, the Oppenheimers, the people who actually have the infrastructure are not black in South Africa.
Correct.
They are not.
They don't
So
run around
economic
country,
apartheid is still going on in South Africa.
Yeah, true.
And it doesn't matter whether or not you get some kind of, there's affirmative action. I'm talking about the Beers. If Zuma said today,
They have done it, brother.
no, if Zuma said today, you see Oppenheimer, you see De Beers, you see those diamond mines that you got via apartheid, you want them back. Come on. What do you think is going to happen?
So now when you
know,
say,
I know you do know. He'll be a terrorist overnight. He'll be a dictator overnight. The president of South Africa. If he said that, he said we're going to nationalize this because exactly what happened with Mugabe. When Mugabe said, listen guys, we want to nationalize, we want to take our stamp back, take our land back. What was he now?
What happened in Rhodesia after Mugabe took over and nationalised everything?
Mate, listen.
I came from there actually,
Listen,
and I moved to South Africa.
listen. If we are going to go into specifics of what happened, we can go into specifics because you understand that there was a whole system that was built up for that man to for that whole country to be destroyed. It was a system that was built for that country to be destroyed. The British got involved. Oh, come on, Rob, man, don't act
I'll
silly
wait for
now.
you to finish because you speak non-stop, and so.
All right, but
when
come
you
on, like,
finish,
well, why are you speaking non-stop, man?
let's not act like
You don't
we
get
don't
it.
know what's going on. Anytime an African leader or any kind of leader that wants to do good for their country decides to do good for their country and their people.
Gaddafi.
the West
Gaddafi.
find a way in which to infiltrate that and stop it and demonize that person. It's a tactic they've been using for
South
decades.
Sudan, yes.
I agree with that, but now you're going
South Sudan, they did it. Bagbo, they done it in
No, he says it's not.
In Congo,
Gaddafi was a
with
dictator.
that, but now you're jumping onto a separate point.
That didn't happen with Mugabe.
What?
That didn't happen with Mugabe. There was no West influence or infiltration to try and.
But white people should just go back to where they come from and let everybody else go back to where they come from, and that's it. If you want our gold, if you want our oil in the Middle East, trade with us.
Correct.
I
But they
would
don't want
totally
to.
agree. Mugabe
They
didn't
don't have
have his
nothing to
plan
trade.
worked out. He knew he wanted them out, but he didn't have a plan as to what to do once he got them out. Totally agree. Totally agree. And that was a mistake by him. But was his sentiments right? In my
I think
opinion,
actually where we disagree is you make the equivocation, which I understand, I'm not in your situation, but you make the equivocation between an individual and a whole country. And I think that's where our...
because countries are made up of individuals.
Yes, but the country, when you make a decision, you don't make a decision on an individual basis. So you ask me, if you ran into my house and did what you did to my house, how would I feel about you?
Right.
Clearly, I would not be happy with you. And I wouldn't go, okay, it's all fine, let's keep it.
Right.
But when it's a country, you've got to consider everybody in the country. I don't think it's right to do that. Okay, hey, you whites have taken over. Now what we're going to do is either going to kick you out or we're going to make it reverse racist. I don't think that's... And neither did Mandela, neither did Bishop Tutu and that lot that came in there. So I think that's where our equivocation
So
really is.
let me ask you a question. If
I think of it,
go on.
whoever's most qualified, whoever's best suited for a job should get the job, whatever the case is.
Okay.
Now, is that happening? I'm happy to say no, it isn't in many places. I'm happy to say that. But I also will say that the law doesn't discriminate, just the word, but I do agree that there's people within there. So if you and I were going for the job and you were better qualified, whatever your expertise is, you should.
But you won't get the job.
That doesn't happen now.
You wouldn't get the job.
Exact
But if
opposite.
you
You wouldn't get the
disenfranchise
job.
me for
What are you
200,
talking about?
300, 400
You need
years,
to get that shit from China. Skin whitening.
Am I
You might
going
stand
to
a chance.
be in a better position to do the job than you, who have been in that power position for 500 years?
Fucking
now
listen
I
to this
agree
guy.
with you. So if
Look
you've
at
got
Donald
no-
Trump.
I
What
have
qualifications did he have? I'm applying to become the Prime Minister next week.
Do you want to step in here?
No,
Because I'm
just
hearing
good
you
luck,
like
my
a little
friend.
rat in my
Good
ear.
luck.
Yeah? I'm trying to have a conversation with him.
Have a conversation.
If you want to jump in, you're more than welcome.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just helping the guy
I know
out,
you're
man.
quite emotional
You
about it,
can't-
but
it's not
let me
emotional. It's not
finish with
emotional.
Because when you shout
It's
in my
not
ear,
emotional.
I can't hear it.
You're not getting what he's saying.
Yeah,
to
I
you.
know I'm not getting it. But you
You're
keep
not
saying
getting
that, it's not going to make me get it.
We're
Do you
going to try to
understand
make you get it. Go.
So-
I feel like I'm back in school.
Okay, but you're welcome to go. I'm not
it's
keeping
all
you
right,
here.
it's all right.
not here. But if you want to
No,
educate
no,
me...
you're not keeping me here.
Because
You're
I
prolonging
obviously
it.
not get it, but you keep saying I'm not going to get it. It's not
You're
going
not
to make me
going to
get
get
it.
it.
So
You're not
that
gonna get it.
mentality
He's
isn't
wasting
going to be
his time.
helpful.
No, you're wasting
Okay,
your
but
time.
he and
bro.
I will have that conversation.
Go and have your
I need your
conversation.
permission.
Go and have your conversation.
He's got to play back.
You know.
He's got to play back. He's got to.
You know, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's awful. You
Shut up,
guys,
you'll never get it.
we were going back to what
Never
I
get
said
it.
about the country. I think that's where our disagreement is in South Africa, because that's where I brought it.
Of course, it's what you were raised. So you're going to have an emotional attachment to that country, right? Or at least a sentimental one.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Sure. But that's why I say you and I disagree with what happened at the end of the party. I think you suggest what should have happened was the moment
Get you
Mandela
out,
came
yeah.
in, kick all white people out,
That's correct.
because they were, and of course not all white people were, but I guess you would say they were profiting, or in some way they were advantaged, which is fine. But they should all be kicked out.
you
What
say they
Mandela
weren't?
said, say again?
Would you say they weren't?
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh.
What I am saying, though, what Mandela did is say, hey, whatever's happened, we need to find out what's happened and we need to set the record straight and then we need to move forward. Because we can't move forward
What does second the record straight mean? What does setting the record straight mean?
understanding what happened, accepting that they did whatever